Well, that's how I feel about waking up and having a good time every day. I like to have a good time on any day that has a Y in it. Any day that has a Y in it. Welcome to the program, babies. It's gonna be an enlightening conversation. Mr. Cool TLC himself is coming in here live with us. Okay. And wait a minute, we're gonna get him. We're gonna get him. We're gonna get him. Okay.
Your show will go live in
5 seconds.
4, 3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
Oh, but we're here live on Facebook. Follow us on Facebook. Here we go. Ha. Okay, I jumped in there just a little bit early because I'm excited about today and everything that's happening, and just wanted to chat with you. I've been, I don't consider myself an internet troll. I consider myself an internet research person. I'm looking for stuff. I'm finding out new things, and I can travel all around the world via the internet. And it's almost just like you're there without having to fly. You don't have to, pay an exorbitant amount of money for the airline tickets, the hotels. I can just sit back, relax, and I can chill just like I want to. Okay, wait a minute. I got the. I'm trying to because this is, like I said, this is a whole new thing, y'all. I'm trying to learn how to do. Here I am. I'm gonna get it. Wait a minute. I'm gonna get it. Okay, let's see if we get that like that right there. I'm like I said, I'm learning on the fly. Please allow access to your microphone. Okay, I don't know what that means. Oh, well, you know what to do. Call me, Terry. Let me know what's going on, sweetie pie. This is Mr. Cool TLC, and I'm trying to see that I get it right. Okay, send the invitation. Okay, okay. Well, we'll find out what happened to my window. We're looking through the window. There we are. One day I'm really going to act like I'm going to really learn this, and I'm learning on the fly. One of the things that I wanted to chat about today was reading, like I said, I'm not a troll. I don't think I'm a troll. I was reading this article about a couple who have been married for 17 years, and they have 3 children. They're all in their teens, early teens and what have you. And the wife wanted to do a DNA test just to find out about the genetic makeup of her family, and her ancestors. Did anybody have heart disease, diabetes, mental health issues? See, when I was growing up, we knew that there were mental health issues with a lot of our family members. We had an uncle that, and he was. He was like 2 bricks short of a load. So I mean, he could dress himself and he could undress himself. And if he didn't feel like having clothes on, he just took them off and he was buck naked wherever he was. They would dress him up and, get him dressed up, and he could walk. And so he was ambulatory, and he always carried a piece of salt pork. Salt pork, you all look it up, Google it. He would have a piece of salt pork in his pocket. And he would go downtown and he would see a Caucasian lady. Oh, and it was bad in the summertime because women would have their sleeveless dresses on and what have you. And he would go downtown and wait at the bus stop like he was getting ready to get on the bus. And he would take a piece of salt pork and slap it on her arm and bite it and say, "Ooh, this meat sure do taste good. You done gave this meat some good flavor." And he would take it off, and he didn't run away. He was just standing there like he was waiting for the next person that he could slap a piece of salt pork on. So they would always say, "Well, Uncle Guy, he was 2 bricks short of a load." See, and back in the day, you had to really understand and learn how to talk the lingo, because lingo is generational. Sometimes when I'm talking to these young people, I have no idea what they're talking about, because first of all, y'all talk so fast It's not even funny. You just talk so fast, and I don't understand a lot of what you're saying, and then you're using different words. Because when I was, they used to call the girls big butts, onion butts, and now they have all kind of stuff for it. I'm like, okay, and it's bad when you're naming your pieces parts something else other than the pieces parts are named. What's even worse is when you start naming the fat on your body. When I started listening to young girls talk about, you can see the top of their stomach over their tank top, over their pants or whatever. And I was like, don't you want to pull them pants up? Oh, mother love, you don't understand. This is my muffin top. It doesn't look like a muffin top. It looked like somebody slapped a can of biscuits up beside the table and it just poofed out. So I'm like, we shouldn't name our body parts other things than what they are. Teach them right. So anyway, and I was concerned about that, before I even thought I would have a child or get married, and have children and what have you. Well, I had the people get their DNA test done, and so I thought they didn't have them back then. I'm sure they didn't have them back then readily available like they do right now, because you can go pretty much and just buy you a DNA kit online. I did not even know that, and they're not inexpensive. I saw them anywhere from $100 to $300, depending on what you want the DNA for. If you want it for something genetically, that's one thing. If you want for, to determine parental, to determine, what is the word? What's the word? Paternity. It was coming to me, it'd be right here. Just come on. To get the paternity correct. I mean, they even got TV shows on. Maury Povich, I love him to pieces. You are not the baby's father. Oh, yes, you are the baby daddy. You did this. You have to deal with this one. And for health reasons. And so she did it for health reasons, the lady who was married for 17 years with the three children with her husband. Tests come back. They found out that they're somewhere between second and hey, baby, I know you was going to be here with me. Wait a minute. I'm bringing them in. Okay, how come I can't hear him? Can you hear me, T? Hello? I see you up here on the board. I'm trying to patch you in. Okay, that's not it. Duh. Okay. Can you hear me yet? Can I hear you? I can't hear him. Wait, I'm gonna fix it. Oh no, that's too much of me over there. Okay. Okay. I want to do that. I'm trying to figure out how to make this work, y'all. Okay, that's not working. Wait a minute. Call me on the other line, T. Call me on our 929 number, 929-474-08. I'm sorry, 929-474-3088. Because I was trying to patch you in on the number, but it won't let it. It's not coming through. Okay. Why do I keep doing that part? Okay, I know y'all looking at me like I'm crazy. Well, I am crazy, but I'm not crazy like that. I can do stuff. So hopefully he will patch himself into me again. And if not, please call the number that you usually call me on. So anyway, so they get the DNA test back. The DNA test says that she and her husband are cousins. This goes beyond kissing cousins. And, that the DNA test, they're somewhere between third, fourth, and fifth cousins. So now when you get to your third cousin, I thought your third cousin was your play cousin. They really wasn't even related to you. And now they are, and when we look at this, how they always telling us as human beings, we are all only 6 degrees separated. So I remember my great-grandmother, my grandmother, my mother, myself, my son, and his kids. That's 6 degrees, and we're all related. So if we're all connected together like that, we're all related. I mean, come on. When men and women procreate, you can't procreate anything in anyone but another human being. You can't, get a woman and have a horse impregnate her, or a guy can't impregnate a female cow. We can only make baby people. That's what we can do. And when you make the baby people, as technology has moved forward, we can see that we can do a greater genetic testing. We could do, this could be, hey man, can you hear me? Hey T,
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. You know I'm having all kind of technical difficulties. I keep telling them, don't leave me in here by myself. I'll be to punch the button to New Zealand somewhere.
Right.
Okay. But you can hear me.
Right.
I got you. Thank you so much for your patience. So, our conversation today is about getting a DNA test. So I was telling the people about the lady and her husband in Colorado. Shut up, mother. Who got a DNA test to see if there was anything genetically amiss in their genetic makeup. So when they get the test back, the woman finds out that they're third, fourth, or fifth cousins. So now let me ask you this, Mr. TLC, because we always say we 6 degrees separated. Are they 6 degrees separated and they're married and they got kids, or are they even considered relatives when they're the third, fourth, and fifth cousin?
Man, listen, 6 degrees separation is no more. We 3 degrees separation. You know what I'm saying? So we only 3 degrees, and if they cousins. Most of us really, without somebody really knowing, we really could.
Well,
Like we just don't know all our DNAs in our family life.
and
You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, they third, and that's still, when you say cousin, you could. I ain't talking about fake cousin.
you talk about where you could trace the bloodline that we're related.
Yeah, that's street cousin, that's street cousin. That's okay because y'all know y'all really ain't cousins unless you really check your DNA. You check your DNA, make sure that y'all street cousins.
Straight cousin. And see, in our community, when you're a cousin, whether it's through a bloodline or we pick families that and people to join us in our tribe. We go out and we got our brothers and our sisters and our cousins that are as close to us as our biological family is, and we make them our family. And then when you get the DNA, then stuff start coming out. They find out, well, that's really not Uncle John's daughter. Really, that's somebody else. How disruptive is that in somebody's life? I had shared this story with you all one time about one of our friends who had raised who he thought was his daughter for her entire life. And one day, the girl's mother came over to pick her up from his house, and they had an amicable relationship. They were co-parenting very well. And she came over one day, and this is cavalier. Okay, I just wanted you to know, she really ain't your daughter. Her daddy just got out the penitentiary, and we going back with him. All right, see ya, bye. The disruption that caused.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's still going on.
After the house burned down, not an advocate for violence, but I'm just saying, after the house physically burned down.
But see, that's the kind of stuff that really gets people, riled up. I can see for genetic reasons, and especially in some communities that have different genetic makeup where a certain disease could run in the family. It's like the babies who are born with Tay-Sachs disease. They can only develop Tay-Sachs disease if both of their parents are carrying the gene. And a lot of people don't know that, but you hear more and more about people saying, well, my husband has the gene, I have the gene, so we're opting not to have babies of our own. And then they say, oh, we'll be childless. I mean, you see all these kids out here that are in the foster care system that need to have parents, and that's another way that's a good way to make your family. But when the DNA comes up, and it clearly says that this is your child, or this is not your child, or this is your father, and this is not your father, how disruptive that could be. Would you take a DNA test if it came down to it and somebody said to you, well, man, that really ain't your son, so you ought to do a DNA test? Would you do one?
Yeah. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would, because I would want to know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that yeah, I raised them and he my son, but I would want to know for sure. You know what I'm saying? Because if it don't have nothing to do with just the woman.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's me, myself. If I, let's think about it, men always say, well, it's a woman. But no, what happened if you was sleeping around? And I'm not saying I'm a sleeping around type of person, but if I was and I wasn't sure,
That's what I'm asking. That's why I'm asking, because people get them for either paternity tests and or for their to see what the genetic makeup is as far as their health is concerned and the health of their children. Well, I remember when we went to see one of our relatives, and this is one of our senior relatives. She was like my granddaddy's sister, so she was my grand aunt. And we went to visit her, and they wheel her out, and she's in a wheelchair, and she only got one leg. Okay, so we little kids, and I'm like, wait, Grandpa, Granddaddy, what happened? What happened to Auntie leg? And she was pipe up real quick, said, "Oh, baby, don't worry about that. That's just a little sugar. You ain't got to worry about that." I said, "Well, wait, you gonna get it back?" She said, "Baby, don't worry about that. Come on up here and sit on my lap in the wheelchair." I'm like, I don't think I want to do that. And you having a little sugar and your leg is missing. And as a kid, this is what is going on in my head. Do I even want to know what a little sugar is? And that's the way that they approach people in our family having diabetes. Oh, it's just a little sugar. This is a little sugar, y'all. A little kiss like that on your forehead. And they would always say, "Come over and give me a little sugar, baby. Come over and give Auntie some sugar." And I'm like, "I don't want to get that. My leg gonna fall off. I don't want to do that." And then as we got older, we found out the importance. And back then, adults did not share two things usually with their kids and with anybody. And that was how much money they made or what kind of disease that they had. They don't want to tell you they got diabetes. They don't want to tell you that mental health runs in our family. And then when I found out about that, and I didn't mean to like confront, some of my family members, because I was kind of salty. And I went and I was like, "Well, why didn't you tell me something was wrong with your brain? Why you do some of the crazy stuff you do and how you talk to people like that? That's a mental illness." Remember the commercial? Mental illness is no longer hopeless.
Right.
And it seemed like somebody ran out of hope.
That's probably why they ain't killed. That response right there.
Because I said mental illness is no longer hopeless. That ain't no mental illness. And people look at mental illness differently than they look at bodily diseases. It's okay to talk about diabetes or heart disease or, any of these other maladies, but don't you dare talk about somebody with mental illness. There's nothing wrong with them. And even when, when we were growing up and they had the class for the slow kids or the mentally retarded kids, and I always hated that term, mentally retarded. How you're not mentally retarded? What constitutes that you're more sane than this person right here? That's the part I don't understand. We don't.
That's why I said we only three parts separation.
Oh,
we only three parts.
Wait a minute. So
we those three.
So in your opinion, when they found out that they were this couple in Colorado found out that they were cousins, they were either third, fourth, or fifth cousins. But then it seems like the bloodline has gotten watered down because our genetic makeup, with the blood that runs through us, and that's why I could never understand why guys always say, "Well, that's the woman fault." Well, how come every child on the planet got her father's and his father's DNA, got his or her father's blood type? I'm just asking. My mother didn't give me her blood type.
I mean, it ain't, but that's the only people say that is ignorant. Because if you think that, that's what you've been taught. And that's all you're going to say. Remember, we only repeat what society says.
Right.
We don't think for ourselves no more. We only, when the majority say this, that's what it is.
It's got to be right.
Same thing for yourself. So, right, your people that say, "Oh, yeah, well, it's just a woman fault." Oh, okay. Excuse me, stupid, for being in the room.
Well, okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's like the stupid statement.
And it's just ignorant. It is really ignorant. And the fact that people will take ignorance above logic is beyond me. I mean, there have been people, we had an incident, and I tell a lot of personal stories, and they're from my point of view. They're not from other people in the family's point of view. This is just from my POV. I had thought until I was 17 years old, and you couldn't have told me any difference. I thought that one of my uncles, we found out when I was 17, he wasn't my uncle. He wasn't my grandmother's son. He was my aunt's son. She had a baby early. And the guy who was the father was on my grandmother's side was her first cousin. So I was like, so is he my uncle or is he my cousin? Is he my first cousin or is he my second cousin? You know, which one is it? You know, so I was, you know, confounded until we started unraveling the ancestry of our family. Then I was like, oh, and that's what y'all wanted to keep from us? Why was it such a big deal?
Right. So that's your uncle cousin. That's your uncle cousin. Uncle cousin.
You that's my uncle cousin. And for me, he was always my uncle. He was gonna always be my uncle, you know. And oh, wait a minute, he was gonna always be my uncle, and we were very close. And he the one taught me how to gamble. My mother said, listen, you cannot be in here aiding and abetting to the delinquency of these minors. He taught us how to play blackjack. He taught us how to play five-hand poker. He taught us how to play all the gambling games. He even, shut up, mother love, just spill the tea. He even taught us how to shoot dice.
Right, just shut up because you telling everybody you a hustler. I'm just saying.
That's the nature of me. I come from a family of hustlers. I mean, you know, they all had a hustle. They had jobs and they had, you know, they had a side hustle. Some of them had 2 and 3 jobs and they had a side hustle, you know, and so it wasn't a big deal. You know, members of my family had the, remember before the lotteries came out, we had the policy stations.
Yeah, everybody knew about that, you know.
See, and they had numbers runners. Everybody had they had number runners, and you was the one to run around and pick up the bets from people in the neighborhood, you know, and then they bring them to the policy station, and then you go down in the basement, and they got a crew of people down there, you know, pulling the policy numbers, and then the runner go back out and pay the people out. That was a hustle. We had a guy. Well, we had people that did all kind of hustling. We had a guy. I didn't know why they called him this until I was old enough to understand. But they would say, when is Willie the Pill Man coming? So I'm like, why you got to wait for a man to bring pills? And then get out of grown folks' business. You know, they used to tell us that. Come to find out, he was selling people in the neighborhood uppers. It's some kind of other name for them, but they were selling uppers to make you go real fast and what have you. And so, okay, wait, hold on. Wait, let me see who this is. Hey, you on with Mother Love and Coop? Okay, wait a minute. I'm talking too fast. It's coming. I can't get. Hello.
Yes, greetings to you. Yeah, this is Shabaka St. Corey, the executive producer of the podcast, Shabaka's Black Experience in Hand. And I was going through here and I was looking at, you know, what you was talking about in regard to DNA testing, and also too about bullies. And the main thing that I wanted to comment on about bullies.
No, wait. Wait. You gotta hold that thought. Wait a minute. Listen, hold that thought. And then when we get to the bullying segment, which you can just hold on right now if you want to, because we're gonna get to the bullies when we finish up this segment. So you want to hold on and call back. First, tell me your thoughts about DNA testing. If somebody came to you and said that you were their baby's daddy and you weren't sure, but you've been raising this child for a while, would you go get a DNA test?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. Okay. The reason being is because, you know, you got the financial responsibility. And then, of course, you know, a man, you know, will be protective of this child. If this is his woman's child, right? Of course, you know, it's his child as well, too. You see what I mean? And then keep in mind is that the child is innocent. And this is why a lot of times, particularly in the Black community, you know, you've had gentlemen, you know, that got involved with women who had children, particularly like if they're small children, and, you know, pretty much raised them much as if they were their own. But then you would have the scenario where, you know, the woman would have teenage children, and, you know, the man who is not their father coming to the home, it'll be some type of conflict on that. Of course, you know, you would have those, you know, particularly dealing with the boys. They're saying, well, man, you ain't my daddy, this is the other, okay. And then the mother may crumb bum on the child's biological father. And then the other guy, you know, will probably say, well, hey, man, you know, if you don't take it here, you can get up out my house. So it's kind of like a touch and go situation, and this is one of these scenarios where, you know, each case is different. You know, it's because you would have those who are raised by another guy who says, well, man, you're
Mhm.
daddy.
Mhm.
But when it comes to the DNA, you see what I'm saying? You know, you still have to get the biological dad some type of respect on that issue because God forbid, you know, if this child might need a blood transfusion, God forbid, you know, if there's some type of elemental
Mhm.
disease, which they would need, you know, the dad's DNA, you know, to take care of it. But however, you got to be very, very careful with the medical profession
Right.
itself, is because now these days they're going more off of greed motive as opposed to a moral motive of doing the right thing. But that's just my opinion.
Well, you have a strong opinion, and we appreciate you coming on the Mother Love Show with Cool TLC and sharing your opinion. I want to ask both of you about this because women have done this. Women have done this. Okay, you find out you've been raising this child, thus and so. She comes and tell you she's not, you're not the baby's father. She wants to leave you or get a divorce, but she wants you to pay child support for this child. Is that fair?
No, it's not. It's because, you know, it's not his child, number one. Now, he was misled that it was his child. You see what I'm saying? Then that sounds like a case of fraud to me. But that's just my opinion, you know, and they got court TV shows on there called Paternity Court or something or the other. And then if the man's heart is in the right place, to do right by the woman and the child, you see what I mean? And then he finds out that he's not the father, then it sounds like that he's entitled to some back child support and a little bit of punitive damages as well too, because for all practical purposes, this man had been deceived and he had been lied to. But like the referee says, in boxing matches, protect yourself at all times.
At all times. All times. My son used to get so mad at me. When he went away to college. Would you do it, T? If she asked you for child support?
You know, I'm petty. You already know I'm petty as it is anyway. So soon as that came up, and he said that was my son, I said, that's cool, because the table ain't in my name, and neither is the gas or the water. So I just wanted to make sure I got the right security number. That's all I'm trying to say. I know I'm petty. You ain't got to ask me. I'm telling you. Right now, it's going to be the problem. So I gave my restitution.
You done said your piece. And I think it's wrong.
And I appreciate you allowing me on your podcast. Okay, now I saw one of these videos, you know, when people get in a fight, you know, they put them up there on social media, Stinky Bird, Facebook, and what have you. So it was a scenario where these two men who have children by the same mother got on into a fight. Okay, what caused the fight? You know, I don't know, but you could tell that there was some leftover feelings with this, a little bit of jealousy and what have you. So anyway, baby's daddy number one smashes baby's daddy number two and hits this man and he had knocked him down, say about 24 unanswered blows.
That's not funny.
And depending on what state you're in, that could be considered a felonious assault. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
You know, because I'm sure the gentleman will tell you that I don't know this being men's fault. You know what I mean? As that this is a scenario that's no good. Now, no disrespect to none of the ladies, but then you have women who sit up here and will set up these scenarios to engage in such a conflict. My opinion is, if men are going to go out here and fight, you might as well go do it for some money. Amateur boxing, UFC, because one thing about it is if you get smashed, okay, they will fight for your medical care.
See, you know what?
You have to look at this and excuse my language, I'm just going to tell it like it is. But when you look at this prepackaged garbage that comes up out of Hollywood that wants to feminize black men, number one, also to lower the wealth, or I'm sorry, to lower the value of black men in their children's lives, number two, but they don't ever want to show you film, you know, like where you have a strong black male figure and the kids are doing you know, particularly with the boys, because, you know, they got a pattern to follow, just like when you look at a herd of elephants,
Mhm.
you know, it's kind of like the baby male elephants go through a rite of passage, you know, with the male elephants, you see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And then if a woman is going to put you in a situation where she's constantly want to get you off into a bunch of fights and what have you,
See, run,
put her fast.
run, run. You got to run.
Accident waiting to happen. And then keep in mind, in most biological species, the females are the most deadlier of the species.
Oh,
Because
oh.
they say, hell has no fear like a woman's sword.
Who?
And then when it comes to black women, when they get off in a ticked off mode, they're gonna get their respect one way or another. You know.
Yeah, but then wait a minute. Let me say this. Let me just interject this. And then when a woman does stand her ground, especially a black woman, when she stands her ground and she means what she says and she can stand in her purpose as a strong woman, oh, then now you are angry black woman. Or now you just think you know, you gonna try to belittle me, you're gonna emasculate me, or she's and this is in my opinion. I do not believe a grown woman could emasculate a grown man. I just don't get it. I see, to me, old people and young people, when we was growing, my mother used to say, because I didn't like boys when I was growing up. I mean, I like men. And I had said, I don't like boys. Boy, a boy can't do that for me. I can do that for myself. I want a man, got a job, got a car, you know, want to take me out. And she's like, what you doing talking about old men? Old men gonna give you worms. Old ladies gonna give you the cooties. And I was like, whoa. I know y'all heard that before. They had us terrified of me. And then when I started dating an older man, I was like, no, why my mama told me stay away from these older gentlemen. Because I wasn't gonna be the one that's gonna get cooties or, you know, worms or anything like that. That wasn't gonna be me. I'm like, See.
As Shabbat's Black Experience Enhanced, you know, like I said, the name of my podcast, which you all are welcome to call in. Okay, we do the Black Experience from the beginning of time, 10 minutes ago, and we have put a lot of episodes out there in regard to the plantation system that has shattered the relationship and the family unit between black men and women, and we get all kind of hate mail. We had all kind of crackpot call in. Is that?
Well, you know you're gonna have that. You know you're gonna have that. Oh no! Then we're gonna be rioters. You're just stirring up a storm. Why don't you just go over there and sit yourself down and be in your black place? And somebody told me that one time when I came out here to Hollywood, and it was like, okay, this is what we want to do with you, mother love. We gonna make you a single woman, and you're gonna be a housekeeper. And I said, is acting on my resume? Acting is not on my resume. And I'm a good actress. I've been in 13 movies. I've been on every TV show. That's not my core. My core is this. I am a talk show maven. I'm an awesome talk show host. I could talk to a butterfly. I'm gonna tell you the truth, because if I tell you a butterfly dips snuff, look under his wing for the box. And they don't like that. They don't like that I stand up for myself. They do not like the fact that I have a black husband we have been together since 1972. I got a black son, I got black grandsons, I got black uncles, and I embrace the men in my family. I told my husband, you know, I only got one child, and I got a boy, a man child. He grown now. And I said to him, you know, I say this to all the mothers that have sons. This is the reason why you get a male and a female to procreate. I'm not talking about your outside relationship, you know, because the baby got two mothers or two fathers. I'm not talking about that. If two guys want to have a baby, they're gonna go to a surrogate or they're gonna adopt. Plain and simple. So I'm like, okay. I said, I don't do that. What do I need to play a male? And I would have been like, I'm gonna call her name Hattie McDaniel, my soror, God rest her soul. She was the first black lady to win an Academy Award. And she said, somebody said to her that she gonna get all these major. She said, so you know, so she said that, you know, she said, I'd rather get paid to play a maid than be a maid. Now that was profound right there. You know, I have the first movie I did. I didn't play the maid. I played the cook. And I said, "Can I wear my apron?" They said, "What your apron say?" My apron say, "Well, I have it now." It said, "Don't make me poison your food." See, because people do stupid stuff. That's it. That's it. I
Sometimes we use Mr. Brown's intro, you know, for our podcast. It's about this black experience enhanced, you know what I mean? And then, like I said, too, is that the Hollywood industry, which is nothing more than a section of the city of Los Angeles, for those who have never been there, is because when you go to Hollywood, it's not its own city, it's a section of the city of Los Angeles, and if you mess up, it's going to be the Hollywood division of the Los Angeles Police Department that's going to deal with you. You know those guys that made Rodney King famous a few years ago?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but
Oh, yeah.
keep in mind is that Hollywood has never shown positive black males. The only
Oh, wait, I beg to wait a minute. I beg to differ with you with that. Because they have black artists, that were doing great things. I think Hollywood got scared and pissed off in 1964, I would believe. Don't quote me on that. When Sidney Poitier won the Academy Award for Lilies of the Field. They didn't know whether to crap or go black, because not only was he black, he's dark black, and they felt threatened by dark black men. I remember I was doing somebody's show, and the lighting director says, "Okay, we can't put Mother Love next to the white person because I can't like them. I can't like them the same. So we're gonna have to put this kind of lighting over here, for Mother Love, and this kind of lighting over here for the white girl." And the head of the lighting department. On that project came, and I could hear everything in my IFB. That's earplug. You see the news people have in, and the talk show have that that's called an IFB. Right. So I heard him say, "You can't like Mother Love and this other girl. Then you obviously do not understand lighting. Okay, your services are no longer needed. Get your crap and you can leave." And I was like, dang, he just cut him on. I never said anything, but I sure was glorying in the spunk of that lighting director. And the lighting director was a less melanin friend. You know what that means. So listen, Shabbat, we're gonna check out your podcast. You know I love you because I let you promote your show right here on the Mother Love Show. So you follow Mother Love on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. Oh, it's not Twitter anymore, it's X. Thank you so much for participating in our program. And if you want to call back, because now we're gonna go into the bullies. We have bullies in school. First, I got bullied not by people in my school. I was bullied by my family. I got bullied by my older sister. I got bullied by my uncles and aunts, because when I was a kid, I was a little bitty bony thing. And I was so tiny that in the wintertime, my mother literally had to sew rocks in my pockets to keep me anchored on the ground, because the wind coming off that Lake Erie, that hawk, would just blow me up right up in one of them tree branches. And so they would bully me about that. And then the boys would come down and say, "Oh, look, we can see her panties because she's stuck on the tree. She's stuck on the tree." And they would come out and they would be out there signifying until somebody came and said, "I need to go get y'all sister off the fence. They're over there messing with her." And I couldn't get off the fence by myself. So I know what that's like, to have somebody talk to you in a way that you don't deserve. And most of us, I would think, maybe not everybody knows a bully, but do we understand bullies? And how do you know when you're raising a bully? What are some of the characteristics of a bully have you seen? You ever got bullied before, T?
Yeah. We fought every time I got bullied, too.
Oh, so you weren't scared?
We fought every time. Every time. I wasn't going for that.
So, okay, so...
That's all it's going to be.
But I thought, okay, now see, to me, they tried to bully you and you stood up for yourself and you're like, okay, that's how you want to go down? We can scrap about this. Bullies are looking for people who would never say, "Oh, you want to scrap? Oh, what you say? And then when you couldn't say anything else, you go, "Yo, mama." And that's when the fight would start, or you start running. Bullies are looking for the weakest link.
I ain't
Right.
Everybody else was like, fight, fight, fight. I was like, all right, man, this is what we gonna do. I ain't want to fight, but I wasn't gonna stop not fighting because they were there fighting. That was the influence of people outside of the arena.
And,
It made it happen.
and people
So I
don't.
wasn't gonna fight. I was just laughing to think it was fun.
And to somebody who is being bullied, it is not funny. I stood up for a lot of the kids that were being bullied, and because I knew people that had my back. I knew if anything jumped off and somebody else did something to me, oh, my brothers and sisters, they was gonna show up and show out. And then on the way, they're gonna get their best friends. And by the time they get down to 40th Street, oh, I'm flashing back, they don't call the uncles. I could see them coming down the street. Oh, it's gonna be on and cracking. So and because of my jovial personality, shall we say, I could always make people laugh, and I could laugh people out of bullying somebody else. But they know, oh, don't bully her. All her family crazy. All them, they'll come out here and whoop you with your own baseball glove. And people don't speak up, and people are afraid. And then when you get, you're going through this, and people that are getting bullied, the bullies don't even understand the detriment that has on them. And that bullying, in that inner self in you that's playing that tape over and over again. Oh, they're just gonna walk over me anyway. Okay, I just be quiet and close my mouth. And you take that with you through adulthood, and you start looking for people like that who are taking command, because all you know is let somebody else take command, and I'll just sit over. No. And we got to teach our kids how not to be bullied. How do you know that you are raising a bully? Because these are somebody's children. And I mean, how do you combat that?
We gotta know, right? But then you gotta know the difference between jumping and cracking on people, bullying, because they're not the same.
No,
they're not the same. And people try to say that they are, and they're not the same. If you don't got stuff, because kids say some old ridiculous stuff, and if you can't crack back, then you just don't crack back. That don't mean that they're gonna stop cracking on you. But that don't mean they bullying you. That means they just cracking on you because you didn't crack back.
Okay, and that can turn into bullying. That can turn into bullying because they see that you're not gonna that you're not gonna step up, and that you kind of cower, pull your shoulders in, and take whatever the punishment is. And I remember one of my friends when we were in junior high school. Oh, when all the girls just loved him. Oh, he was like the color of a cup of coffee with some cream in it. He had this big, thick, curly hair that he kept saying, I'm just gonna cut it off, because he wanted an afro, but his hair wouldn't fro like that, and you could tell that he had different genetic makeup, and he had these big giant black locks of curls, and the girls just fell all over him. Well, I knew he took that to his advantage, and he was bullying. I saw him bullying another kid in our class that liked this girl that the other guy liked with the big curly locks. And so the dude wasn't bothering him. He was just walking down the hallway with his books, and dude with the curly hair went over and just slapped his books out of his hand. And when the guy went to pick him up, he should have picked him up, and I would cold cocked him in the head with a book. But I came up, and they were always like, I would never hit a girl. I would never hit a girl. And I took advantage of the fact that I knew he was not going to hit me back. And I rolled up on him real tight. And I said, my mama know your mama. And I'm going to call my mama and tell your mama, mama going to tell your mama that you in here bullying these kids. Oh, you ain't going to do that. You ain't going to watch me. He stopped bullying because he know, if your mama got to come up to the school on a school day and she working, it's going to be hell to tell the captain when you get home. If she don't whoop your behind in the school. I saw a mother come up to the junior high school. She whooped her son in front of the whole class. And he thought he was gonna go home after the whoop. She told him, you ain't going home, you got to be in school. I'll see you at 3:45, because we got out at 3:30. And I was like, he was so embarrassed from the whooping. He wasn't embarrassed that he was caught bullying and somebody ratted him out. He was embarrassed because his mama came up to the school, offered her work job, and whooped his back in front of everybody. But you know what it did? It cut down on that bullying. It can damage people.
That's what it's gonna do. I wasn't worried about bullying because my mama was a bully.
See,
my mama used to join against each other. So I came from a professional zone
And they
I'm like, you can't even be my mama.
okay.
No, you're not, you know.
I'm not the one. I am not the one that you're gonna bully. And we have to, and that has to start in the home because and my brothers and sisters, God rest their soul, it's on myself and one of my younger sisters still on the planet, but they will tell you, our mother told us explicitly, she said, this house on this side of this address is a totalitarian dictatorship. She didn't say she was a bully. She said this was a totalitarian dictatorship. That's when we had to go find out about. We didn't know what that was. I just liked the word totalitarian and I didn't know what it was. So we got to go look up the dictionary and look in the dictionary what a totalitarian dictatorship is. Hitler, Mussolini, Stalin, all of these people out here that doing this crazy stuff. And I was like, and she was right. You follow every rule and regulation over here. And I was like, okay, I could deal with my mother and my sisters and brothers, because I have to. Out in the street, I wish you would. And my tongue was too sharp, and I could say so, go up one side of them, down the other. And you know how when somebody, really gets you and the crowd go, doom, whoa, man. I got a lot of that. And they left me alone.
Oh, yeah, I used to get that same thing. And then people be like, oh, okay. And that's when you got something when you go, okay, I got you. Well, what is your mama? And that's when it all started going downhill.
That's it. Them two.
That's gonna rattle your whole generation.
But and they did know how to check each other, because you could bag on somebody, if you got the skill set, and then nobody never want to bag with me because I would be going. By the time they got to the second sentence, I was like giving them a paragraph, and it was like, did she just cuss me out? She called me some kind of, I don't even know what that name is, but it didn't sound right. And that's what you got to do. Hit them with some not. And this is something that I didn't put the two together, but once I understood it, once I saw it written down, I said, that kind of makes a lot of sense. Did you know that bullying can lead to people developing type 2 diabetes? They could lead to mental health breakdowns. They could lead to all kinds of maladies because they really don't know how to cope when a situation, they're confronted with a situation that they don't know how to handle. And when you just, and this is psychological, it's fight or flight. And see, I was in the middle. I'm like, I ain't running.
It's worry. Right. It's always, it's worry. And people really don't understand that. People don't understand you can worry and not show it. Because your body has a mechanism to hide worry. And let you know that it's a signal for worry. You don't have to. You be like, I'm good. I'm fine. You're really not. By the time you say I'm good and fine, you're really not.
You're really not.
You just found a way to kind of deal with it. You're not finished with it. You just found a way to deal with it.
Right. And when you think about it, bullying is a form of abuse. Think about it. When these husbands are, in these marriages and they have these timid women and they just, want to smack them around anytime they want to. And, they don't care if they're pregnant or not. Yeah, I saw The Godfather with Sonny's sister being beat by her husband and she was pregnant, and see, when that's the case, they just cower and they'll tell you, I'm fine. And you see their eye black down to the elbow, or you see them, the lip is busted, and they come to the door. Ma'am, we got a wellness call to see if you're okay. She come into the door and she won't even open her door. Oh, I'm fine. I'll be like, come get me. See, first of all, let me tell you, the last.
Looking at the good times, and if you do go viral, that's just him. That's dismissing the behavior.
Right.
That's not really confronting the behavior, because you never confront it. You just let it go. Didn't say nothing. That's where it's built up. And now you're thinking about all the good times y'all had, and you've been with this man, now you're thinking time. You're not thinking about his behavior. You're thinking about time.
And see, and you have to
Been down with
you have to think about that, before going into a relationship, because people could put on all the shiny things and all the beautiful bells and whistles and, and put their best foot forward. As soon as you start getting closer and closer and closer, a bully and an abuser will want to distance you from your family, from your friends. You can only go to work. I need to have your cell phone. I need to know where you're going at all times. I'm like, oh, that's stupid. Because last time I looked, I was an adult. Now I don't have to give you a blow by blow of what my day is. That should be a red flag right there. You should know this. We were talking about this the other day. The importance of effective communication. When you could look somebody in the eye and you know that they're telling you the truth. And ladies, men got telltale signs because people always think women, well, we are the better liars. We don't consider it lying. We consider it just fudging the truth a bit. So
lying. You're lying right now. You're lying right now. You're lying.
I couldn't even get it. I couldn't even get it out. I couldn't.
Dress it up. You can make it sound like a shiny coin, but it's lying.
You still lying. You are still lying. See, this is how come.
You still lying.
I learned to not lie a long time ago, because soon as you lie, you gotta remember the lie. And then somebody asks you about it again and you don't remember the lie, then they know you lying. So if you just tell the truth, you don't have to be, searching all around the room. See, when you're looking all around, you're looking for a lie. The truth does not change. That's
why I don't look around. I don't lie and I don't look around. I just bend the truth a little.
Oh, well, see, now you lying. Now you lying. Now you lying. Okay, I was talking to one of my girlfriend's daughters, and she got invited to this pretty swanky affair, and her ex knows the lady who was having the swanky affair. So she was my girlfriend's daughter. She was all excited about going to the party, getting all dressed up and everything. Then she found out that her ex was going to be there, and he had a new girlfriend. Now, would you say, if that was you, would you still go to the party even though your ex is going to be there? And what if you still got feelings for them? How awkward would that be?
Don't you know what ex meant? Ex. That means goodbye. We ain't really got that together. We did be together, but now we ain't. And this is my new girlfriend. How she look? Okay. Hey, she kind of look like you? I'm sorry, my boy. Because them the type of women I like.
Oh,
Like you.
oh, see, and you don't think that would be awkward for her? I see. If it was me, I would go. I don't care what jumped up. I would go, because you're right. We're no longer an item. I don't have to deal with you with that. But see, that lets you know, if you go on in and you know that somebody that you were involved with, I don't care if it's a wedding, a baby shower, a funeral, a repast, a graduation. I've seen fights break out at the funeral. Because the guy that died, he wasn't married to either of these two women. He had a wife. So he already tipped off on his wife. So he tipping into we'll say girlfriend number one and then girlfriend number two. Girlfriend number one comes in. When he's tipping over to her house, she is like, all distraught and everything. So then he tips over to girlfriend number two. Well, girlfriend number two found out that he was, I couldn't understand it. He was cheating on her with girlfriend number one. And I'm like, he cheating on both of y'all. He got a wife. He is legally married. He married, he got kids. So both of y'all are like side pieces. So girlfriend number two, I saw this. It was like something out of a movie. I couldn't make this up on a bet. So you know how they bring the casket out, and you're coming down the stairs, and the casket is in line, to get into the funeral procession. Well, he tipped in on the second girlfriend. Second girlfriend shoots him dead. Shoot him dead. They can't find him. So it was an unsolved mystery until girlfriend number one shows up at the funeral and confronts because they had been looking for her. They had been looking for girlfriend number 2 because they kind of knew who had shot him, but they couldn't find her. Well, she shows up at his funeral with his wife, his kids, and girlfriend number 1 are. These two got into a fist fight coming down the funeral home aisle at the House of Wheels on 55th down there on Quincy. Yes, a big fight. They had to delay the funeral procession for like a good hour and a half when the police came up. It's not funny. It's not funny. So the girlfriend number 2 is hauled off in handcuffs because she was wanted for murder. And a first degree murder because she told, oh yeah, I plan to kill him. I plan to kill him. Yes, I emptied out the gun. And she thought because that was her boyfriend that she wasn't gonna get any time. They threw her behind. She might still be in jail or dead. She probably dead by now, but this was a long time ago. But when you're going in a place and you know somebody is in there and you still have feelings for them, do you stay because you all have this mutual friend and you're having a good time, or do you leave and forfeit your good time?
I'm telling y'all, I'm telling you now, you know I'm Mr. Pay. Done ran in it, done it, understand it very well. The one thing that I can say, I'm just going to say this. This is my opinion. This is my opinion. Not the opinions of us. Let me make this announcement. This disclaimer is not the opinions of the Mother Love Show. This is only the opinions of Cool PLC and his ridiculousness to be petty. Make this disclaimer. Make sure everybody understands.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. You gotta let me marinate. You gotta let that marinate in my head. Ridiculous pettiness. I think you're gonna put those 2 adjectives together. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I had to make that disclaimer that, for my ridiculous pettiness, you know what I'm saying? This is not the opinions of the Mother Love Show, but only the opinions of her co-host, Cool PLC. So I just want to make that a separate announcement.
Okay.
But see, most women, now I'm just saying, most, I ain't saying all, I'm saying some, most women are going because they want to see what the new girlfriend is like.
Oh, heck yeah. Oh. I showed up because I wanted to know what this heifer looked like. What did she have that I didn't have that you would leave me and go to her? I just wanted to see. And it was terrible. I didn't behave really well. I did. You know what I did?
Most men is looking at the situation like, well, I don't know if everybody is, but most men that I know is looking like they can be cordial because all they saying in the back of their mind is, I don't care if you got a new man or whatever. We saying in the back of our mind, I slept with you, right? I know what you look like without all your clothes on. We saying this all that time, so that's why it's not really, we don't really get super angry. We just looking like, oh, hey, how you doing, dude? All right. Because in that process that me and him just saw, telepathically, I just said to him, I slept with your girlfriend, right?
See,
we used to go together. And now, y'all go together. But, we slept together. But we saying that when we saying, hey, man, how you doing? You all right? Okay, nice to meet you, brother. We saying that same thing. The only men know that we saying that to another man. That's why he gets angry.
Oh,
we saying that. I'm just saying.
Okay, well, why then, if you're thinking that in your head when you're meeting her new boyfriend, and you're in your head, you're going, yeah, I know what she looked like naked. And there's another, yeah, you got her now, but you getting the sloppy seconds because I was all up in there first, and then why does the old boyfriend feel the need when his old ex-girlfriend is like leaving, or he sees where he can get up on someplace where he could talk to her, and then he want to act like he just want to pee a circle around it, like, I don't care if I got a new girlfriend, you still mine, you still my property. I'm like, men want to have it both ways, and I don't know why men think that they can juggle a bunch of women. Well, that's when women didn't know what you were doing when you left the house, and you could have these sad families and do, you could do all this stuff. We got a friend that he had a separate family with separate kids from his wife and his kids. And when they found out, oh, It was one hot mess. Well, we'll talk about that on another day. It'll be lovely, 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 lovely. It's always a great day to talk to you. Peace. Peace, Mr. Cool TLC.